Hello, welcome to News Now on TV360. I'm Thelma Okoro. 4 people have been killed in 2 separate suicide bomb attacks in Usmanti and Kaleri area of Mafa local government area, Borno State, northeast Nigeria. Among those killed is a civilian joint task force member. According to the Nigerian Army, the first incident occurred at about 11:55 p.m. on Tuesday when the suicide bomber was targeting a security outpost in Usmanti layout. He was, however, shot dead by the Nigerian military. The second attack occurred on Wednesday around 5:30 a.m. when 2 suicide bombers in a female and a male were trying to gain entry into a mosque in Kaleri area but were spotted on time by the civilian joint task force. Authorities in Niger's northeast say a woman suicide bomber with a baby was part of the suicide bombers which attacked a market in Madagali last week. According to chairman of the Madagali local government, Alhaji Yusuf Mohammed, the woman with a baby and 2 girls, all carrying explosives, struck a crowded market in the town of Madagali 11 days ago, killing 6 people and injuring 17 others. The Nigerian Army spokesman Rabi Abubakar could not confirm that a baby had been used in the attack and said the woman may have just been disguised to appear as if she was carrying an infant. The United Nations Children's Agency, UNICEF, says it was the first of such incident involving a baby reported in northeast Nigeria. The Nigerian government has compensated the families of 218 officers and men of the armed forces who died in the line of duty. Minister of Defense Mansur Dan Ali, who presented the compensations to the families, also promised that the welfare of the serving military officers would be given top priority. He noted that life insurance claims being paid over the years had grown tremendously and expressed confidence that fewer military casualties would be recorded in years to come.
As we are gathered here today, our officers and men remain steadfast in the execution of their duties spread across various flashpoints across the nation in fighting insurgency, militancy, communal clashes, and cattle rustling, among others, all in bid to ensure collective national security. Unfortunately, as all these conflicts have lost and family units are being disrupted as their breadwinners pay the ultimate sacrifice in the charge of their duties. On behalf of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, I wish to convey our sincere and heartfelt condolences to all the next of kin here present and across the nation in general. The Federal Republic of Nigeria owes the gallant officers and men our eternal gratitude and respect and praise.
Of course, there is still the outstanding question of our men and women who lost their lives during the uncovered period of various insurance schemes. I want to assure the next of kin that we are doing everything to ensure that they are fully paid, and we are looking and hoping to obtain necessary funds so that they can be paid.
Men of the Nigerian police force have clashed with members of the Islamic movement of Niger in Abuja, the nation's capital. The Shiite sect was marching to the National Assembly in protest of the continued detention of their leader Ibrahim El-Zakzaki when the clash ensued. Now, TV360's correspondent in Abuja says policemen fired tear gas canisters at the Shiite members during the encounter to disperse the crowd. This eventually led to a confrontation between the Shiite sect and the Nigerian police force. Many of the protesters were arrested during that clash. 5 members of staff and 3 students of the Tulip International School located in Isheri area of Ogun State who were abducted from their school premises by gunmen have been released after 11 days in captivity. Confirming the release, a police authority, Kayode Aderonti, explained that the victims were released by their abductors on Tuesday. The police, however, denied reports that the abductors made a ransom demand as reported by the media. The students and staff have been received by the state governor, Ibikunle Amosun, in the State House on Wednesday. The Northern Governors Forum says it has resolved to work with relevant stakeholders to secure Nigeria's borders and register Fulani immigrants entering into the country to rear cattle. Chairman of the Forum, Kashim Shettima, who is also the governor of Borno State, disclosed this to journalists at the end of the Forum's meeting in Kaduna. According to him, the governors observed that most of the herdsmen involved in the issues of insecurity are immigrants from Senegal and Mali. He acknowledged that the country was experiencing lots of challenges, particularly in the northern region. Over the past few weeks, hundreds of people have been killed in southern Kaduna by suspected Fulani herdsmen. President Muhammad Buhari has renominated Ibrahim Magu to be confirmed as the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. In a letter, the president urged the Senate to reconsider and confirm his appointment. This comes over a month after the Nigerian Senate refused to confirm Magu as EFCC chairman over allegations bordering on corruption. In his letter to the Senate, the president cleared Magu of any wrongdoing as alleged by the Department of State Services. Shehu Sani, a senator representing Kaduna Central, has hit out at President Muhammad Buhari for his false reply to the Senate report indicting the Secretary to the Government of the Federation for corruption. The Senate had last year demanded the resignation of Baba Chiola for his role in the alleged diversion of funds and materials meant for internally displaced persons across the country. However, the president in his reply said he will not listen to the advice of the Senate because the report was signed by just 3 of its 9 members. In his reaction, Sani, chairman of the committee, described the current anti-corruption war of the president as a farce. An Abuja High Court has adjourned the trial of former PDP spokesman Olisa Metu to 2nd of March 2017. This will be the 3rd time Metu's trial will be adjourned. Metu is standing trial for 2-count charges of destruction of evidence. He was arraigned by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission last year.
What is wrong with you, man? Saying no. Tell them I drove for more than 1 hour.
Yeah, me. Ọ̀rọ̀ yín náà ni mò ń ṣe. Ọ̀rọ̀ yín náà ni mò ń ṣe. Ká kúrò fún Ọlọ́run. Ká satisfy yín níbi ọ̀rọ̀ yín náà ni mò ń ṣe.
Ẹ wo jẹ́ ká lọ jàre. Ká kúrò nbí báyìí.
Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ má bínú. Hello ọ̀gá. Màá dọ́dọ̀ yín lẹ́sẹ̀ yín. I'm assure you 5 minutes. Màá dọ́dọ̀ yín. Ẹ gbà bẹ́ẹ̀.
You are deceiving another customer just like you deceived us.
The same way he deceived us.
Eh? Why?
Ètò ni iṣẹ́ yìí. Bó o bá kúrò ò lè jẹun, ò lè jẹun. Bó o bá kúrò ò lè jẹun ìyá mi. Bó o bá kúrò ò lè jẹun. Workshop mi lélẹ́yìí. Ibi tí èèyàn bá ti ń ṣe ló ti ń jẹ. Ìyẹn ló ń pè ní workshop. Ibi tó bá ti ń work ni kó má ti shop.
You cannot base your business on lies. Calm down now. It is corruption and it cannot work. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. It's now time for business stories. Fidelia has the latest.
Thank you, Thelma. The Central Bank of Nigeria's Monetary Policy Committee has decided to retain the country's benchmark interest rate at 14%. The CBN also decided to leave the existing cash reserve ratios for commercial banks at 22.5% and the liquidity ratio at 30%. Announcing the decision, CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele, however, advised government to step up efforts to settle domestic debt to state to help revamp the economy. He said part of the efforts should include attempts to revamp some failing industries and diversify the economy.
The uncertainties in the global environment decided by a unanimous vote to retain the MPR at 14% alongside all other policy parameters In summary, MPC decided to 1. Retain MPR at 14%, retain the CRR at 22.5%, retain the liquidity ratio at 30%, and retain the asymmetric corridor at plus 200 and minus 500 basis points around the MPR. The committee specifically noted the positive contribution of agriculture to GDP in the third quarter, mostly attributable to the bank's interventions in the sector. The committee hopes that, given the thrust of the 2017 budget and accompanying sectoral policies, output growth should resume in the short to medium term. The MPC therefore lends its voice to efforts for an early finalization of the 2017 federal budget by the authorities concerned and the resolve to pursue a non-oil driven economy, as this will go a long way in stimulating aggregate demand and restoring confidence in the economy.
The CBN governor also defended the decision to award special forex to manufacturers in the country. According to him, the policy of setting aside 60% of total foreign exchange available to banks for the manufacturing sector would continue. He also noted that operators in the nation's electricity sector qualified for the forex priority for manufacturers and urged them to take advantage of it.
The 60-40 or 60% that is set aside for manufacturers and all that, I would dare say that those in the power sector also qualify for that because they're importing raw materials, either they're importing components of meters, or they're importing components of transformers, or they're importing what we call generators or plants and machines. No, I don't mean generators that people put in their house to generate electricity, because that one is finished product and they will not qualify under the 60%, but I thought I need to underscore that so that banks or those who are listening will know that we're not talking about generators for those who are generating electricity in their homes. I mean plants and equipment, raw materials, those who are supporting the agricultural sector by assisting them to import inputs and some of the implements they need to conduct their agricultural businesses, naturally will qualify for this. So I'm saying that the power sector qualifies, but it is also possible that the constraints that some of the local and small manufacturers are facing may also be confronting these power sector companies, and we will try to also appeal to the banks to please look in their direction increasingly. It's important for us to know that we do not run a float regime, we run a managed float. And what that means is that from time to time, we will continue to intervene in the market to ensure that the exchange rate does not go beyond our own expectations, and those interventions will be to moderate the rates as we deem necessary. The fact that we've begun to see some accretion to reserve does not mean that we have to be reckless. We will continue the policy of ensuring that raw materials is made available, foreign exchange is made available to those who are importing raw materials, who are importing plants and equipment, who are supporting the agricultural sector, but not to those who want to engage in what I can regard as less important sectors that will support growth and development of the economy, particularly the manufacturing sector as well as the agricultural sectors.
General Electric CO has proposed investing in Nigeria's oil refineries, potentially convening a consortium of companies to improve capacity at the rundown facilities. This work was raised during a meeting with Nigerian Petroleum Corporation (NNPC), as GE spokesman said late on Tuesday. GE's plan and similar promises from companies like Italy's ENI to work with Nigeria to rehabilitate the country's 3 oil refineries could help the government as it tries to reduce costly imported oil products. GE and NNPC could also cooperate on national power projects, said the Nigerian firm, as the country remains plagued by cuts and shortages and a cracking power grid. Oil prices fell on Wednesday after builds in U.S. inventory reversed expectations that increasing shale output would reduce the impact of production cuts by OPEC and other major exporters. Benchmark Brent crude was down 54 cents a barrel at $54.90 a barrel, while U.S. light crude was down 52 cents a barrel at $52.66 a barrel. Oil prices have found support in recent weeks from plans by the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and other producers to reduce output. Well, that's all on business. Thelma will be back with more stories. Don't go away.
Corruption not in my country.
Hello? Yeah, I found your wallet in front of a supermarket. Meet me at Apple Junction. Yes, I'll be waiting for you.
Now we find out. Two of us.
Thank you very much, officer. You know, it's surprising that men like you still exist in the police force.
Yes, so...
Oh, yes.
This is just a token of my appreciation.
Oh, no, you don't need to do this. We are only doing our job.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Now I know police is really my friend.
Yes.
Friend. Hey. Okay, which came up with this one? I don't understand.
You know your problem. You are greedy. I'm a policeman who is doing his job. All forms of corruption in the force. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Have you back? Unknown gunmen rammed a car bomb into the gate of a hotel and stormed inside on Wednesday, killing at least 13 people in Somalia's capital of Mogadishu. The men are believed to be Islamic militants. Gunfire rang out as fighters entered Daya Hotel, which is popular with politicians. A second blast shook the area shortly afterwards, injuring several journalists and others nearby. Donald Trump has said a big day is planned on national security, including an announcement to build a wall on the border between the U.S. and Mexico. The new U.S. president is expected to sign several executive orders regarding immigration and border security over the next few days. They are likely to include the extreme vetting of people coming from 7 predominantly Muslim countries in the Middle East and Africa. During his election campaign, Trump said Mexico would pay for the wall, which he said would cost about $8 billion. He has since said the U.S. would recover the costs from its neighbor at a later date. 7 senior secondary students from public and private secondary schools in Lagos State will represent Nigeria in the first Global Robots Olympic in Washington, D.C. The first GRO is a maiden edition of the robotic competition held. The goal of the competition is to expose students to collaborate on techniques to solve global problems. The students selected to represent Nigeria are SS2 students from New Era Girls Secondary School, Oxbridge College, and Danso High School, all in Lagos State, within the age bracket of 15 to 18 years old. Zimbabwe's manager Callisto Pasua has resigned after failing to lead the team past the group stages of the 2017 African Cup of Nations. The Warriors' third appearance at the showpiece came at a premature end on Monday following their disappointing 4-2 defeat to Tunisia. The teams managed just a single point from their 3 Group B games in Gabon. Meanwhile, defending champions Ivory Coast also crashed out of the AFCON tournament after losing their 3rd group game to Morocco. 14-time Grand Slam winner Rafael Nadal has continued his fine form at the 2017 Australian Open, beating Croatian seed Milos Raonic to advance to the semi-final of the tournament. The Spaniard joined Swiss tennis legend Roger Federer in the semi-finals, with both men now favorite for the title after the early elimination of top seed Novak Djokovic and Andy Murray. The 30-year-old will face Bulgarian seed Grigor Dimitrov, who will be playing his first ever Australian Open semi-final, while Federer will play Stan Wawrinka in the first semi-final. Meanwhile, in the women's event, Serena Williams joined her sister Venus Williams in the semi-finals after defeating British seed Jo Konta in straight sets. There is still a possibility of a Williams final after the sisters were separated in the semi-final draws. That's all we have on news now. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Thelma Okoro.